Early Christianity emerged at a crossroads of cultures and religions in the ancient Mediterranean world. Among the many influences woven into its fabric were the mystery cults and esoteric traditions of the classical era. Today we explore a controversial hypothesis that Jesus Christ's earliest followers, including certain Gnostic communities, may have employed sacred plants, entheogens, to achieve spiritual insight, initiate believers, and shape the rituals that defined their faith. Between the 5th century BCE and the 3rd century CE, a host of mystery religions flourished in the Mediterranean world. Eleusinian rites in Greece, Dionysian cults, Mithraic ceremonies, and Egyptian initiations. Each tradition in its own manner sought communion with the divine through ritual. Some relied on a sacrament, often a beverage or herb, that initiated extraordinary visionary experiences. Modern scholars have proposed that these ceremonies may have involved entheogens, mind-altering substances derived from plants or fungi, to break down ordinary consciousness and reveal spiritual truths. It is not beyond possibility that early Christian communities inherited or adapted some of these practices. We turn now to the texts themselves. Within the New Testament and the Nag Hammadi library, certain passages may hint at the use of entheogens, symbolic language describing the bread of life, the divine wine, and secret wisdom known only to initiates could be metaphorical. Yet, some researchers argue this language may also allude to psychoactive sacraments, vegetal agents facilitating direct experience of the divine. In these texts, bread and wine take on mystical dimensions. If we consider that early Christian practice arose in an environment where sacred drinks were common in ritual, then the Eucharist itself, originally a communal meal imbued with deep spiritual significance, might have had entheogenic parallels or origins. To understand how such practices could have influenced nascent Christianity, we must recall the fluid exchange of ideas in the ancient world. Philosophical and religious schools overlapped. Neoplatonic thought borrowed from Pythagoreans, who may have influenced early Christian mysticism. Gnostic sects, in particular with their emphasis on secret knowledge, gnosis, might have found entheogens useful as a means of direct, experiential contact with the divine, a shortcut to spiritual revelation.
We know that in the Mediterranean world, rites like the Eleusinian mysteries used a kykeon beverage that many suspect contained psychoactive substances. In a culturally interwoven environment, it's plausible that such practices influenced Christian or Gnostic groups, though concrete evidence remains elusive.
The question is, did Jesus himself use or endorse entheogenic sacraments? Historical data is scant. The canonical Gospels offer no explicit confirmation, yet some speculate that Jesus' miracles, turning water into wine, feeding the multitude with bread, offering a living water and bread of heaven, could be reread as symbolic references to substances that open one's inner vision. It's speculation, of course. But if entheogens were part of a secretive Gnostic branch of early Christianity, then Jesus' teachings about the kingdom of God within, or the sacramental nature of communal meals, might have been understood by some followers as pointing to direct visionary encounters facilitated by sacred plants. We must acknowledge that hard evidence is scarce. Ancient authors rarely detailed recipes or identified psychoactive ingredients explicitly, especially within a religious context where secrecy was prized. Over the centuries, doctrines shifted, heresies were suppressed, and records were lost. Gnostic texts, only rediscovered in the 20th century, remain open to interpretation. Thus, this discussion falls into the realm of plausible speculation.
It's important to remember that these hypotheses, while intriguing, are not definitive. They challenge us to reconsider how early Christians might have experienced their faith. But without further textual or archaeological evidence, we must remain cautious.
If the entheogenic hypothesis holds any truth, it could revolutionize our understanding of early Christian ritual, theology, and the formation of doctrines. It may offer new insights into the Eucharist's origins or the spiritual practices of marginalized Christian sects. Each new discovery, linguistic, textual, archaeological, could yield clues that bring us closer to understanding the original context in which Christianity took root. Our journey ends where it began, in the interplay of faith and cultural exchange. Early Christianity, born in the crucible of the classical world, may have absorbed more than we ever suspected. Whether or not Jesus or his Gnostic followers ever partook of sacred entheogens, the very possibility invites us to explore anew the profound mystery of how human beings have sought the divine, through word, through deed, and perhaps even through the subtle whisper of the vine and leaf.